Hi and welcome. Let me just double check to make sure that you can hear me. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, or thumbs down if you cannot hear me. So welcome. Today is Thursday. I like to come online every Thursday now at about 2:30, and we'll come online and discuss a few topics of interest that I see here in the clinic, and hope to share with you some experience and some insight and wisdom from the Chinese medicine point of view. So today's topic is about welcoming autumn, enhancing immunity, preventing cold and flu and allergies, which is quite common during this season, increased vitality, and emotional balancing. So the question here I have is how to stay with the rhythm of the season to bring harmony, well-being, and inner peace. So autumn is here. I can feel in the air, the day is shorter with cooler mornings and evenings. This is one of my favorite seasons. In the market, I see more autumn vegetables like pumpkin, squash, and fruits like pears and apples. In the traditional culture, with the change of season, we change our foods, lifestyles such as exercise, sleep, thought process, and so on. When we are in tune with our bodies and know how the season affects us, adjusting our lifestyle to coincide with the change in season is a natural way to stay healthy. If we look around us, animals and birds know that. They migrate, they come out and feed at different times as the season change, and especially now they get ready to hibernate, especially those that live in the northern hemisphere. However, I understand that most people don't spend too much time thinking about how to adjust their diet, lifestyle, thoughts, exercise, sleep, etc. to harmonize with the season. So this wisdom is lost and not part of the many modern cultures anymore. So as the world gets smaller and import-export gets more efficient, we still get the same food from all over the world from January to December and still eat the same thing. I can still get mangoes in September, but it is not the season to eat mangoes. Okay, so despite this lost wisdom of adaptation, learning to honor the changing needs of your body within the cycles of the season is a powerful way to gain more vitality, reduce the risk of common seasonal concerns for your body, mind, and spirit. Okay, so during autumn, I see more people that come in with allergies, cough, and cold. Also, it is common that I see patients that are grieving or in the process of letting go of something in their life. So in today's live video, you will learn what you can do to strengthen and protect your health during autumn and release some of this emotional stagnation, we call it. So this approach will strengthen and in turn create a reservoir of health to sustain you in the months to come, all the way to the end of winter. In Chinese medicine, autumn is linked with two organ systems. They are the lungs and the large intestines. These are considered as the metal phase in the 5 elements of nature. So during this time of the year, lung and large intestine meridian take center stage. So we see more conditions of cold, cough, and some digestive issues if we don't take care of them. This time of the year, we change from the outward, a more active, we call it the more young part of the summer months of going out, traveling, staying up late at night, to more of an inward, more yin, I call it, activities of staying at home, staying in, cooking in the house, and sleeping more. So if you have a harder time waking up, it's quite natural as we are adapting to the new season. So don't be so hard on yourself, okay? And so let's look at how to protect the lungs in this season. Okay, in this season, your lungs are vulnerable to winds and extreme changes in temperature. Both wind and temperature changes are more common during autumn. The best solution is to dress appropriately for the weather, making sure you layer to avoid getting too hot or too cold. I would also avoid excessive sweating. It's time to preserve the moisture in the body to keep warm. I recommend wearing a light scarf. You can get a stylish one that will protect your lungs and throat from the harsh winds. And let's look at some food to emphasize and to reduce this season to help us strengthen our lung system. Okay, so here we go. So in the Chinese medicine tradition, the flavor of fall is pungent, and we should balance with a little of sourness. Pungent foods have been known to stimulate more of a blood circulation and have a natural ability to help break down accumulation in the body, which is like phlegmy. You know, if you wake up in the morning with phlegm, some pungent flavor food will be helpful. However, in most cuisines, they are mostly combined with protein and with foods high in fat. So these include scallions, daikon radish, or dried daikon, ginger, peppers, wasabi, dry mustard, and horseradish. Pungent taste gives off a hot and more of a dispersing energy, and is beneficial to the lungs and colon. However, an excess of this food can irritate the intestine, so we can combine them with a little sourness. The safe number is about maybe 5% of your meal should have some pungent taste. And to balance this, add some sourness to balance and to slightly constrict the energy of the expansion. So here we can add a little bit of lemon, limes, or pickles. So the use of proper flavor ensures the body's mucosa stays moist and warm, and also help to prevent infections such as cough and cold. We want to prevent eating foods that are also too damp or too cold in nature, as they can cause congestion in the lungs. Some foods I would say to include are like cooked vegetables. You know, if you like raw food, autumn is the best time now to cook your vegetables, so you can introduce some warmth into the body. You can also include some parsnip, sweet potatoes, like we mentioned earlier, horseradish, garlic, orange vegetables like winter squashes, oranges, onions, olives. Vinegar would be one of them. Fermented foods such as sauerkraut or miso or yogurt. Azuki beans, or like the little red beans, navy beans, walnuts, chestnuts, lemons and limes, and apples. Of course, we also talk about some spices too, so that we can include in our autumn repertoire in our diet. This include bay leaves, black pepper, chili, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, turmeric, rosemary are some spices to include, and also dark leafy greens like kale, chard, mustard, and so on and so forth. Now, don't forget to also cook your food and make some warming soup and stew. So these are really good to have. And to minimize, we want to stay away from those that are more damp, such as uncultured dairy products like milk and cream, cucumbers, watermelon. Those are for summer. We don't want cold drinks, no raw foods, noodles, potatoes, and bread and sugar. So try to avoid those as much as you can, because those create more damp in the body. If you like, at the end of the video, I will post this on a link so that you can have a list of the recommended food that we discussed earlier on this page. So next, let's look at the emotions linked with this season. The emotions of the lung and large intestine. Okay, as mentioned earlier, Chinese medicine categorized the lung and large intestine with autumn. They get special attention because these organ systems are also the most vulnerable during this season. So the lung, okay, you know, in Western medicine or in science is considered that we breathing apparatus. For us, is considered as a yin organ, you know, yin and yang. So besides its functional physiology, is also associated with taking in the new. So emotionally, the lungs coincide with like emotions of grief and sadness. Here we look at unprocessed grief and sadness that can stagnate the lung meridian. If unchecked for a long time, this will stagnate the lung qi and cause difficulties Inhaling deeply. Okay, next, attachment issue. Here we look at the difficulty of letting go. If unchecked, it can also stagnate the lung meridian. When the lung qi is flowing and balanced, you will experience a more positive outlook of life, easier to surrender to and let go of small things you're not holding on too tight, easier to allow inner peace and joy to enter, regardless of any situation. And also in thinking-wise, you are more, they are more clearer. Your thought process are more clearer. On the opposite, if the lung qi is stagnant, you will experience more of a cloudiness in thinking. Okay, and so again, opposite of the positive is a more negative outlook of life. Like, for instance, the glass is half empty kind of analogy. For the lung intestine, for the large intestine meridian, it is considered the yang organ. So the large intestine organ is all about releasing the O. Okay, so the large intestine channel is linked with a hard time letting go. Okay, being uptight, not able to poop. Okay, that's one example. But pooping or not, there's other reasons too, of course. Being stubborn, have a negative outlook of life, not being able to flow and ebb with life's journey. And when the large intestine qi is flowing and balanced, we will feel more of a sense of relaxation, a release of what no longer serves us, like letting go, and flowing with life instead of resisting any changes. And we are more apt to focus on the day-to-day instead of the big grandeur picture, so more grounded. So if you notice a heightened awareness of these emotions, it is quite natural as they coincide with the change of the season, especially autumn. One example that I can share is the grief or attachment issue related to the loss of summer. Some of us feel more sadness when the sunlight and warmth are greatly reduced. The days are shorter and cooler. We look at letting go, however, as part of nature. Now, as trees shed their leaves, that is nature's way of letting go. So we can follow suit. You don't see the trees getting attached and keeping all the leaves during this season. So we follow nature, shedding what no longer serves us during this season. If we look at animals, they get organized for hibernation. It can be a time for us to use this energy to get organized as well. Maybe clean the garage, clean out your closet, donate some shoes. So remember, a lack of awareness of changing of season can lead to feelings of stagnation and a lack of harmony with life's ebb and flow, all of which can affect the health of your lungs and large intestine channels. So, at the end of the day, do breathe deeply, take in air into your lungs all the way to your belly. Feel its expansion as you inhale and contraction as you exhale. If you feel sadness, go out in nature and look at the trees. Let go of the sadness the way trees do by shedding the leaves. So I hope this video can help you feel more in tune with the season and all of its possibilities. Follow the tips above and you can rest easy, knowing you have created a reservoir of strength, health, and wellness for the fall and winter months to come. Wishing you all the best and bye for now. Talk to you soon. Remember to catch me next week, Thursday, same time, 2:30. Bye now.